Still waiting for my great miracle today. Got back home, left for a while. You guys can guess where I went. If you follow my videos, you probably already know. But it's been getting dark very early, and because it is now Sabbath, there was no buying or selling going on. When I return, the dogs have pulled down some trash again, so I've got to pick that up. Fun. They always get into something and destroy something, but St. Bernard, and he's prancing and he's jumping for joy that I am home. And then the other dog is barking and like going like this and really hyper and wanting to jump on me. So, as naughty as they are, they do give me a lot of love. So, let's look at my list of topics to make videos about. I have a lot. Some would be better with like some images and maybe a few minutes of research first. So I really shouldn't make videos on most of these things. One thing I can talk about now would be how to distinguish between the Jezebel and Leviathan spirits. And narcissists are fake humans that it looks like a human body. It could be a regular human that sold its soul, or they checked out, they didn't want to live anymore. It could also be the tribe of Dan, where they're genetically different, and they're predispositioned to being possessed by entities, so it's very difficult for them not to be possessed, and these families have passed down their traditions of idol worship and possession since the dawn of time, and because of that, they really don't stand much of a chance. And possibly you would have a child that is already possessed, but could decide to live an upright life. But it seems like they're given demons before they even have a chance at life. So, anyways, the narcissist. Essentially, the narcissist, if there is a human soul, then it leaves quickly. It's a human body, or a cloned human body, or it's also one of these beings, a nephilim, that's using technology to appear human. So, and within these human bodies are spirits, demons, and devils. So, there are different spirits that possess these entities. Most of the demons are wacky and zany. I keep saying they're like Looney Tunes because they are. They could not pretend to be human. Basically, they are along for the ride, while a Nephilim is the main controlling entity. And actually, the demons may even be able to... Actually, I'm thinking that the demons may be able to possess the Nephilim. Because the Nephilims are still... A lot of them are still alive. And if they are a living being, then demons could possess them, which is something that I have come to realize. I did notice this, and I just didn't include it in my previous videos, is that the Leviathan hybrids, the Nephilim, the serpent Nephilims, can be possessed by other demons, and they usually are, and those demons pop out, and they have their own specialties and things that they do. But these ones will not be talking to you, holding a conversation, running any businesses or churches. They're just not sophisticated enough. So the two that I know that are sophisticated enough to do any real damage would be Jezebel and Leviathan. So actually it's not Leviathan, it's a Leviathan human hybrid, which is the serpent Nephilim. So a Nephilim is half fallen angel and half human. A demon is half fallen angel and half animal. So a Nephilim is higher intelligence. And the ones that could breathe underwater survived the flood, and they are still alive. They have been reproducing through many means, like genetic engineering and implanting in human females. Um, so they have their hybrids, which are fake humans walking around. Some call the reptilians the shapeshifters, and sometimes you see their true form. Yeah, because I think it's like a hologram, or if it's not a hologram using like frequency, then they have this ability to camouflage themselves like a chameleon. And when I was shown my ex-serpent Nephilim's true form, it very well could have been an ability that these beings have. Like, they could have been genetically engineered with this ability to change the way their skin looks, almost like it's an LED TV or something, to where they can change all the pixels. And that might be, but it's so precise. It's quite amazing, honestly. So, the serpent Nephilim, okay, that's like half leviathan sea serpent, and it's half human. Maybe the ratios are a little different. But actually this one is incredibly intelligent, but it's so egotistical that it can't run churches. It can't run anything really, because it's only worried about its own pleasure and enjoyment, which is a sadism. Its pleasure is from watching other people's pain. So it doesn't even like many of the things you might think it does. And the Jezebel spirit, excuse me, the Jezebel spirit is not so sophisticated as the Leviathan, but she will do things that benefit the kingdom of darkness. So, although her intelligence is much lower, she actually is useful, where the serpent Nephilim Leviathan hybrid is not. Okay, so if you want to tell the difference between which one is which, if you're a chosen one, if you have a parent that's a narcissist, your parents are probably Jezebel and Ahab. This happens commonly. And you were probably married to a Leviathan hybrid, which I call serpent Nephilims, because Leviathans are serpents. They're sea serpents, like sea dragons, that mixed with a human. So their real voice is incredibly intelligent. It sounds like this spiritual being that's thousands of years old, and it's just speaking in like this incredibly intelligent language, but yet it was modern English. Insane. But then that instantly translates into their human voice, and I have covered this before, but they don't want anyone to detect who they are. They want to go incognito. So they will make their physical features like the exact opposite of their features, and they also make their voice the opposite of their voice. So they're very intelligent, so they kind of sound dopey in their human form. They try to sound like they're just forgetful and careless and, like a Shaggy from Scooby-Doo or something. But they actually sound like highly intelligent angels, so highly intelligent dragons, because that's what they are. They are hybrids, and these beings are thousands of years old. And one thing that happens is you have a main spirit that can possess many different beings at the same time. And these Nephilims, not being human, not being fully human, they don't have the same lifespan, and they could be genetically engineered to live for thousands of years or never die, even if the telomeres are altered or something like that. So I know what these look like. I know how they make themselves look when they're human. Jezebel's a little different. Jezebels usually possess females. Now, I'm not saying that she can't possess a male. Of course, she probably could. But Jezebels like to possess women, because this is a female. It's a feminine spirit. Now, it might actually be a hermaphrodite, but it leans towards the feminine. Jezebel has a certain way that she does her hair, a certain way she dyes her hair, a certain type of clothing she wears, a way that she does her makeup, a way that she speaks, a way that she acts, the countenance, the way that like she'll hold her eyes and things, and the way that she'll speak to you, and her handwriting will be the same, no matter which human body she is possessing. Jezebel does possess human bodies, so she is not the same. She is not the same because she was already killed. So a disembodied spirit, or a being that has already died or was killed, that possesses other bodies. But these other narcissists, like the leviathan or serpent hybrids, they are often still alive, and they don't possess anything. They have their own bodies, and they can actually be possessed by their little demon buddies, their little demon pals. So they're like the main villain, and then you got the dopey henchman, and that's like the other demon. So Jezebel is actually not incredibly intelligent. She kind of reminds me of like she's an adult woman, but she kind of acts like a young child, like a girl, and almost throws a tantrum. It's a funny thing. But although she's not as sophisticated as the Leviathan, she can carry out long-term plans and goals and plots and schemes that the Leviathan simply is too selfish to do. So she often runs the churches. I would say in almost all cases, churches are run by Jezebels here in 2024. The churches are run by Jezebels. And Jezebels love to say things like, I'll make a separate video on, like, you need to accept Jesus into your heart. It doesn't matter how you live. It doesn't matter what you do. It's that you accept Jesus in your heart and Jesus loves you. And Jezebels, they are very sexist. I don't think they actually are. This is a tactic that they use against humans, against God's believers. So they perpetuate sexism and certain beliefs that are one way to translate the Bible, but not the most obvious way, and there are many other ways. So the Jezebels mistranslate the Bible, and they perpetuate lies that have been told about in the mistranslations. And they do this, so Jezebels love to use sexism, and they also would use racism if possible. It's a little harder to use racism in the 2020s. It's not accepted, but sexism still is. So Jezebels pit different types, like if you look different than someone else, they'll pit you against different humans so that you feel like second class, or like God doesn't love you as much, and that you're not important, and only Jesus is important. So it doesn't matter what you do. And they definitely won't be casting out demons or discussing demons or anything like that in their sermons. And this is a measure of self-protection. They hide in the churches, and they set the parameters for what is acceptable to be discussed in the church. They never talk about demons. They don't do deliverance. They don't want to cast themselves into hell. And they also use things like sexism to get people so worried and concerned about that they're not thinking about the demon that is running their church, or the nephilim. So they're not thinking about, some of these spirits are actually human spirits or angel spirits. So, but that's not what's in possessing a narcissist. Anyways, this is Jezebel's tactic, is divide and conquer. And she runs the churches and will not be discussing really much about Satan or anything, just only focusing on Jesus loves you, and her Jesus is not our Jesus. They have their own fallen angel that they call Jesus, that they worship, and they are giving homage to when they say this. Now, you aren't, and God understands your intentions, but that's what they are. And I've said before that there wasn't even a J at the time that Jesus was around, so obviously that was not the name. The name was probably Yeshua. So Jezebels run the churches, and they can run the synagogues, and they can run the mosques, and they can run any religious group. And they basically just keep the discussion like safe so that, no one's going to be calling them out or mentioning what they are, or exposing them or casting them out. So that's the main thing that Jezebel does. It has us so busy bickering between each other and concerned about sexism. And racism was a thing in the past, but not so much now. Worried so much about that we're not worried about them. We're not focusing on them. Leviathan hybrid, the serpent Nephilims, the humanoid serpents that survived the flood. And these are normally your spouse. So your spouse is usually, if your spouse is a narcissist, they would be one of these, I would think. And these are a little different. So I did make a video how they behave like the Grinch. We know how they behave. They're sadistic. And they don't take the initiative to do things that will help the kingdom of darkness. They're very short-term, even though they're very sophisticated and highly intelligent in some ways. They won't do things that help the kingdom of darkness because they're so selfish. They only want their own short-term sadistic goals and their sadistic pleasures fulfilled. So they won't do things that help the kingdom of darkness. You know how your narc spouse acts like whenever they get somebody that gets so excited. The bipolar ones, the cluster bees, the sociopaths, the psychopaths without empathy or love. They love to see someone else knock down a peg or two. They love to cheat. But they don't like the act. They just like the idea of getting one over on someone else and hurting someone else's feelings. That's what they like. They don't actually like these physical activities, and those are other demons. But yes, they behave like the Grinch. They are the ones that ruin all your holidays, and they play the victim. And you could say that Satan, Lucifer, act very much like this. They are also cowardly. Now, it's different demons that pop into these spirits that will poison you and sue you and do all this other stuff. But the Leviathan human hybrid, which is your narcissist, does behave differently. This is the spouse, the cheater, the one that doesn't have empathy, doesn't care about your feelings. So normally your parents are Jezebel and Ahab. Ahab, I did not put in this. Ahab just enables Jezebel and dismisses you, acts like you're in the wrong while still helping you and siding with Jezebel more, and actually helping the kingdom of darkness and not wanting to say they're bad. We'll never say Jezebel is bad. So, you can pinpoint your Ahabs because they actually hurt the chosen ones and the saints by siding with demons and devils and not believing that they're bad and actually throwing you under the bus to protect Jezebel. But Leviathan acts much like the Grinch, except for the ending, because they don't repent. At least not now. Maybe God will find a way, but right now when we're in relationships with them, they will not repent, because God's using them to mold us, refine us, hone us, teach us lessons. So you could tell the way that these beings act, and you can recognize their handwriting and things they do. Leviathan hybrid. Leviathan, so I call a serpent Nephilim because that's what they are. They're all of these things. There are different ways to describe them. They will try to tempt you to sinning. Jezebel, this is not her specialty. She just promotes dividing culture, divide and conquer, teaches lies and mistranslations from the Bible. She does things that benefit long-term the kingdom of darkness, but she's not as intelligent as a Leviathan. A Leviathan is so egotistical that they're kind of useless, except to be a bad husband or a bad wife. So they're pretty useless. They're so selfish. But yeah, they do try to tempt you to sin. And you can think about Adam and Eve, and Eve was tempted to sin by Satan, and that's what your serpent Nephilim or Leviathan human hybrid will do. They will try to tempt you to doing every sin, and they will say negative remarks about things that are godly and good. They always use sarcasm to show their true feelings, but they just speak kind of badly about things that are good. Discourage you from doing things right. They will try to get you to play games and just mess around and waste your time instead of doing anything useful. And they'll try to tempt you to sin. And they'll want to get one over on you, and they lie. They blame others for what they do. They are very different from Jezebel. Jezebel just like throws a tantrum when you say things she doesn't like. Now, if you talk about Trump, Jezebel's like, I hate Trump. Trump's sexist and he's horrible. So Jezebel will throw baby tantrums. They're very different. Now, the serpent Nephilim leviathan hybrid actually will say great things about Trump when it benefits him. Because, as I said before, he's so egotistical that he doesn't even do things that will help the kingdom of darkness. He just wants to hurt others and get his temporary pleasure from that. These are funny, silly beings, and that's why you really need a whole army of them to be the chosen one, because each of the demons really only specializes in one thing. And like the serpents, they tempt people to sin and they cheat on you and they're sadistic, but they're so egotistical that they can't do any long-term planning. They have to be told what to do by fallen angels. And they only do what they're told to do because they're so selfish that they're just trying to get their sadistic pleasure in the rest of the time. And so even though Trump is their downfall and Trump is a chosen one, they won't even say anything bad about Trump. And Jezebel, she's not as intelligent, but she's a million times more useful to the kingdom of darkness. They've been running all the churches and a lot of institutions and probably schools and colleges. And they are useful. Their voices are silly. So here's the thing. The Leviathan human hybrid, or the serpent Nephilim, has an incredibly intelligent sounding spirit voice. Like, his voice is incredibly intelligent. But when they take on a human form, then they have kind of a dopey, forgetful voice. Like, it's not like dumb, but it's just like a little bit stoner surfer type attitude to their voice. Now Jezebel, when she's in human form, she actually sounds more intelligent because her real voice is kind of like a child. It's like an adult child. It's like an adult with the mentality of a 10-year-old or maybe even an 8-year-old. Just in some ways like a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old, and in some ways like a 16-year-old. And Jezebels are very promiscuous. That's why you often find them in prostitutes. They love to do up their eye makeup and be seductive, batter their eyes, get lots of suitors, and this is why they normally manifest in women. It's funny is that they manifest in women to run the churches, to say that women are second-class citizens. It's just so funny what they do. It doesn't make any sense, but the devils never make any sense. They're hypocrites. But yes, she does like to tempt. Now, I don't think any of these beings actually enjoy sexual relations, but they enjoy getting humans to sin. That's what they like. So she likes when humans fornicate or humans cheat. So they really love when we cheat, because that's an even bigger sin. So they would prefer that than someone who is single. Anyways. This is why Jezebel, who is female, manifests in a female body, because she's a slut. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I'm not trying to say that I am not female. I am not bashing women at all. This is a demon, or not a demon. I think she's probably a fallen angel. Probably a fallen angel, or possibly a Nephilim, because I saw her manifest, and I saw the way she moved, and it was really freaky, and I saw the way she spoke and behaved, but I didn't see the way that she actually looks, the way her body looked. But I know how she looks when she's a human, and they always look the same. They do their hair the same way, they have the same handwriting, they do their makeup the same way, they dye the hair the same, they wear the same type of clothing, so I can spot a Jezebel. And, Jezebel was my mom, so it's very easy for me to recognize. But yeah, they are big sluts, and they will be the town whore. Okay, anyways, if you're a chosen one, you probably have these as your parent, at least one of your parents. And Jezebel is a slut, so since Jezebel is more feminine, she will manifest in a female body. And Jezebel, like ball, like the devil. And the devil is both genders. The devil is a hermaphrodite. So Jezebel could be the female aspect, the female persona of the devil, to where maybe there's a positive and negative. There's a yin and a yang to the devil, and Jezebel could be the feminine aspect, the feminine version of the devil. Okay, guys, so I might make more and expand on this in the future, but I hope this will be useful. They do have their own personalities and characters. They dress different ways. I have made videos about Lucifer, who I think was Lucifer as well, and his personality. This is very much quite different. So they're all different, and when you know how they behave, then you can spot them. Even when you can't see what they look like, they could be in completely different human forms and in different human bodies, but they all behave the same way because it's the same being behind it. So once you recognize this, you can spot them anywhere. Thanks for watching. God bless you guys.